Okay, welcome back to the Find Your 20 Coaching Insights Show. I'm your host, Mark Severcrop, and if you're a business owner who's looking at more focus, more profits, and more time in your business, then you've come to the right place, because this is the show where I share the top insights from recent coaching sessions that I've had with my clients to help you throw out the 80% that's holding you back in your business, so that you can finally build a business that you actually love owning and a lifestyle that you're excited about. That's right. If your business was these 5 Mentos mints, these little things, your business was these 5 Mentos mints, we would toss out 4 of them and we would focus on the one that's most important. I was going to put it in my mouth, but then I'd be chewing and I wouldn't be able to talk. So I'm not going to do that. But before we get started, I do want to share with you today's featured resource, which is the upcoming Find Your 20 virtual event. It's happening October 12th through the 14th. It's virtual. We're going to meet together via video conference, and we're going to spend 3 days digging into your business and helping you to get crystal clear on the next steps in your business and create a shorter, more focused to-do list than you have right now, all with the goal of building that business that you love owning and the lifestyle that you're excited about, because both aspects are important. So I want to invite you. I've got a few spots left. I would love to have you at the Find Your 20 virtual event. It's a small event. It's designed that way so that you and I and the rest of the attendees can have time to interact with each other, to answer questions, to discuss, to share ideas, and really dig into your business. And I am offering to let you attend all 3 days without paying a single dollar. That's right. You can go to all 3 days, go through the whole thing. And if you do not walk away with a crystal clear vision of your next steps and a shorter and more focused to-do list, then you just simply send me an email and you won't be charged a dime. Otherwise, the cost is $297, but I have no doubt that it's going to be worth that to you. But if for some reason you decide it wasn't worth it, you just send me an email and you won't be charged a thing. So if you would like to come, I would love to have you there. If you'd like to come to the event, go to findyour20.com/retreat. You can learn more about that guarantee that you don't pay a thing if you don't get the value from it. And you can also learn more about the event itself. So that's findyour20.com/retreat. And you can see all of my recommended resources at findyour20.com/my-best-resources. And with that, let's jump into the 3 tips that I have for you this week from coaching calls that I had. And I've had several this week, and it was hard to narrow it down to just 3 because there's so many things that I could have shared with you. But there's a few that I want to share today. And the first one is you need to make sure that your prices don't cause confusion. I was talking with a client this week, and he was sharing with me that in the recent calls that he had, enrollment calls, discovery calls, whatever you want to call them, there was actually a little bit of confusion and people not sure which option they should choose. He has 2 different options of his course or of his program. One is has private coaching involved and one doesn't. And the pricing was, and it's different for each industry. So for your industry, these prices might be just fine. But for his industry, it was $5,000 and $10,000. And what was happening was people were saying, well, I need to think about it. I'm not sure. I want to do something, but I don't know which I want to do. And the question I asked, I said, do you think it's because the prices are too close together? And he stopped and he thought about it and he goes, yeah, that might be. I said, because the people that you're interacting with, a lot of times, I said, can they afford the 10,000? He goes, yeah, a lot of them can. He said, so I'm not sure what the challenge. And I said, I think what might be happening is they're so close in price, they could go either way. So they're like, do I need the extra coaching? Do I not need the extra coaching? Can I do it with just the course? Do I need the extra support? And it was causing this unnecessary confusion. And I said, here's a couple options. I said, option number 1, why don't you increase that top one to 15,000? If they can afford it, awesome. If they can afford 10,000, they can probably afford 15,000. And what he's doing, it's in an industry where that's very normal. As a matter of fact, people, that are colleagues of his in that industry sell programs for $30 and $40 and $50,000. So this is a very normal thing in his industry. You can insert your pricing as it fits, whether it's the same or lower. But the principle is, I said, increase it to the point where it's not so close that they're going to try to decide which one fits. Like if they really want the private coaching, they're going to go for the 15,000, no problem. If they don't want that or they can't afford it, they'll go for the 5,000 and it's fine. So sometimes our pricing can cause confusion. It can cause more questions than answers. And the other part of that, and this is like, I guess this would be like tip 1A. The other part of that is being clear on what you're offering. I said, so when you talk to somebody, how quickly can you are you able to ask questions to know whether they're more likely? Because he said the people that buy the 10,000 just pay it at once. Like they have the money, they write the check, they pay it in full, and they're done. And he said the ones at 5,000, his goal with the 5,000 people is those are people that are just start a little earlier in the process. And his goal is to have that course as a first step to get them their first results and then be able to upgrade them to the 10,000. So I said, in that conversation with them, is there some questions you could ask them that would help you determine very quickly whether they most likely will go for the 5,000 or if they'll go for the 10,000? And he thought about it for a second. He goes, yeah, I could ask some of those questions pretty easily and identify where they're at. I said, so when you go into that call, why don't you ask those questions, determine where they're at, and steer the conversation from there? So if it's somebody that you're fairly confident could and would want to go for the 10,000, don't even talk about that $5,000 option. And likewise, if there's somebody that's a little bit earlier in the process, you determine that they probably would want to start with the course first and generate some income from that. Don't even talk about the 10,000. I said, if it comes up, and then I said, you can upsell them to the 10,000 later, and you can mention that to them at that point, but be clear. And so sometimes our pricing can cause confusion because they're too close together. Sometimes our pricing can cause confusion because we're giving them too many options. Sometimes it's best just to really diagnose what they need and then offer them that. And as a matter of fact, that reminds me, I had another session with another client this week where she does exactly that. She has clients that come in at $100 or $200 a month. And then she has clients that come in at, $1,000 or $1,200 a month. And because of the information she gathers leading up to the call and then during the call, she's able to steer that conversation directly to what they need. And her offers are very personalized. They're very individualized, but she's able to design that offer for what they need and be okay with it either way, whether it's a couple $100 a month or it's over $1,000 a month. And so that price confusion can be taken care of if we ask a few questions and we really understand exactly what it is that somebody's looking for and where they're at in the process. And that is the goal. You don't want people to hang up on your pricing. You want them to be able to make a decision, yes or no. And either one's fine. When I was doing affiliate promotions, running affiliate launches, and I was doing a lot of recruiting, that's what we always said. Like, we don't care whether you say, yes, we're in for the promotion, or no, we're not in for the promotion. We just want a yes or a no so we can move on. And it's the same thing with your clients. You want to give them the ability to decide yes or no and to make sure that your prices aren't causing confusion for them. So I would encourage you to look at your pricing and determine if that's the case. Okay, tip number 2, or maybe 3. I kind of had 2 in that first one, but we'll go with tip number 2. Tip number 2, I was talking to a client and she is running a launch for her products in the next couple months. And right before that, she's also promoting something as an affiliate. And so we'd spent some time talking about how do you manage when you're, selling for somebody else and then moving right into the next promotion. Well, first off, number 1 is try not to do that. One of the things that I learned when I was working with a client and we were promoting a lot of stuff, we're promoting a lot of affiliate offers, we're promoting our own stuff. One of the things we learned to do is, one of the challenges is when people talk to you and they approach you about promoting their products or you're promoting your own stuff, we think about the actual promotion period. So we say, okay, we're actually promoting this product from, let's say, October 1st through October 15th, but we don't build in a buffer. And so the first thing that I would say is make sure before you plan these that you build in a buffer. So if you're promoting something, like let's say there's an affiliate product you're promoting or a launch that you're promoting, and they say, hey, the promotion is from October 1st to October 15th. Great. What I would say is go into your calendar and block off the week before that and the week after that to give yourself a buffer, to give your audience a buffer, so that you're not going right from one into the other, because there's a warm-up period. If you're going to promote something correctly, whether it's your own product or it's a product that you're promoting as an affiliate, you want to warm up your audience, and 1 to 2 weeks to warm them up is a really, really good window to consider. And when I say warm up, let's say, I'm just trying to think. Okay, let's say I was going to do a promotion for my Remarkable tablet, like selling the Remarkable tablet. It's a little bit different because it's not a launch, but let's say there was a launch. In the weeks leading up to it, 1 to 2 weeks before that, I would want to start talking about the value of note taking. I would want to start talking about tips for keeping your notes organized, like all of these things that kind of coordinate and connect to my Remarkable, but aren't really selling, because you want to get your audience in the mindset of whatever it is that you're buying, so that when then you say, hey, I've got this really cool thing, it's called a Remarkable tablet, it's like a digital notebook, it's amazing, I keep all my notes here, it's all in one place, I don't have to worry about carrying around different notebooks or finding my notes, they're just all right here, and I'm doing that promotion, they're already in that mindset, they've already been thinking about it. So number one is to have that buffer period in between. But sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it can't happen just because of the way things shake out in a calendar. And that's the way it was with this client. And so we talked about how during that open cart week, which was the week before she was going to promote her own stuff, I said, you're going to be promoting fairly hard, but I would encourage you to only promote to people that have raised their hand, that have indicated interest in the product that you've been promoting for the last few weeks. Now, there's a couple different ways to do that. One, if it's an affiliate promotion, a lot of times you'll be able to get from the person that you're promoting for, you'll be able to get from them an opt-in list. And so that's a list of all the emails that have opted in through your link. And you can use that to then build a segment in your list of people that you will continue to promote more heavily to, because these are people that have opted in for their free training, their quiz, their, whatever it is, the video series, and they've indicated interest. So you can focus on them a little bit more. If you don't have that, a couple other ways that you can redo or really hone that list is people that have clicked through, and you can do that through your email system. A lot of times you can say, I want to make a segment of all the people that have clicked through from this email, or to this link. There's different ways that different systems do it, or people that have opened the emails. So when you get into that final week, what I would recommend is you have a few emails that go to everybody in your list. A few, probably the beginning, like the cart open should probably go to everybody. And like one email on the very last day when it closes should go to everybody. But beyond that, you probably want to start honing in a little bit more, whether it's to those opt-ins, whether it's to people that have clicked the email or opened the email. Really hone in on the people that have indicated interest, whether they've opened the email or they've clicked on an email or they've opted in. Focus on those people, which leaves the majority of your list not getting 6, 8, 10, 12 emails throughout that week. So they're not going to be as burned out. The other thing you can do, and this is key. Well, actually, I'm gonna make that tip number 4. I'm gonna add that. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I'm gonna do this as tip number 4. So that's one of the things, is really planning out what you do that final week leading in. The very last week is when you typically send a lot of emails for a promotion, and narrow it down to the people that are most interested. So you're not emailing your entire list 6, 8, 10, 12 times that week. You're only emailing the people that are interested in that. Okay, tip number 3. This was a conversation I had with one of the clients that I was telling you about earlier, where we were talking about how she's been able to increase the value per customer of her clients recently. She increased it pretty substantially. I think it was probably by about 30 or 40%. And one of the really cool things is she was talking through it. She said, my hope is that these new clients are going to stay. They're going to be retained better, because she had a challenge last year where she was bringing in new clients all year, but she was also losing clients the other way. So it was like in, out, And so she's hoping that with this higher client, this higher value client, that will reduce, that there'll be more in or the same amount of in, but less coming out the other side from turnover, people dropping out, whatever it was. And so we were talking about that. And one of the things that I've seen over and over again with many different clients that I've worked with on a consulting basis, on a contractor basis that I've coached, is it is a proven fact. I would say proven because I have not seen this not be the case. Higher paying clients are better clients. Higher paying clients are better clients. And we're always scared to raise our prices. As a matter of fact, I can tell you about a guy that I worked with as a contractor several years ago. One of the first things I did in the online marketing space, we were starting a career coaching company. By the way, he just launched, or he's launching his book. And I'm super excited for him for that. But we started off, his price initially was $297 for a course that he was selling. And we talked like, I don't know if people will pay $497. I just don't know. And then he increased it to $497. And then he increased it to $997. And I don't know where it's at right now. It's either at $997 or it might be at $1497 or $1997. I'm not sure. But what we found was when we increased from $297 to $497, our clients got better. They were less demanding. They were less needy. There was less refunds. And when we increased from $497 to $997, the same thing happened. They were less demanding. There was less challenges with them. There was less complaints. There was less refunds. They got better results. And the fact of the matter is, the more people invest, the more invested they are. And so with my client now, I 100% believe that by increasing the value of each customer, the amount that each customer is paying, that she will have less turnover. She will have less people dropping out because they're more committed. They've spent more on the front end. And so now they're going to be more committed. So when you're considering raising your price, and here's the other thing with that client, her revenue is very, very similar to where it was last year, but she's got, I think, like 30 less clients this year than she did the year before, which means that her team can focus on those people more, which means she can provide better service because she's not serving as many people. She's serving the people she has at a higher level. And that's really the key. Higher prices, higher value of customer almost always equates to better customers, less turnover, less returns, less headaches. Higher paying customers are better. It's just the way it is. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about your pricing. Does it make sense to increase my price? Yeah, maybe I'll get a few less customers, but will the customers I get be better? Will they will they require less work? Will they get better results, which then leads to a better result for you as a business owner? Okay, tip number 4. What was tip number 4? It's the one I added. It was we were talking about promotions, and I said the other thing is that you can do. What was it? Oh man, I just lost it. Okay, well, we're gonna have to go without number 4 right now. I'm gonna think about it. I know it's gonna come to me as soon as I'm done recording, and so as soon as I'm done recording, I'll make a note and we'll put that in for next week's episode. So make sure that you tune in for next week's episode because we will talk about it there. But today we've talked about making sure that your prices don't cause confusion. We talked about how to manage promotions, both affiliate promotions, your own promotions that are close together. And we've also talked about how higher prices equate to better customers and less turnover. So I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for being here. If you are inclined to do so, I highly, highly recommend and I invite you to join us for the Find Your 20 retreat. You can get there, or you can learn more about it at findyour20.com/retreat and learn how you can come, learn, and not have to pay until afterwards. So you can get the value first and then pay when you're done. And if you don't find the value, then you can email me and say, I didn't find the value. You don't have to pay a cent. I'd also encourage you, if you haven't yet, to grab a copy of my book, Find Your 20, by going to findyour20.com/grab your copy, and we'll drop one in the mail to you ASAP. Just cover the shipping and handling. We'll take care of the book, and it'll cost less than if you were to get it on Amazon. And always, as always, please leave a rating and review of the podcast on your preferred podcast app. It helps others find and enjoy the show. so we can share this message of being efficient, being effective, and finding your 20 with other people, other business owners that need and want to create a business they love owning and a lifestyle they're excited about. So until next time, get out there and chase your 20.